Hello, everyone. Welcome to our first webinars this month, June. We have two guest speakers from Mozambique. The first one is FRIO ONOFRE, who is from Manica province in Mozambique. He is a philanthropist and English teacher. Well, and we have a SADÚ Graciel. SADÚ Graciel is a law student in the Faculty of Law here in Mozambique. It's 4 year student, by the way. And so I will invite them to come up to show Frio, Onofre,
Hello.
SADÚ Graciel, Salvador, and Finberg, or Ben Finberg. Welcome. The stage is yours.
Hi, everybody. Nice to meet you. I'm Ben. Thank you, Rogerio, for introducing me. So I'm hosting this webinar today. I'm very excited to talk with you guys and ask you some questions, and hopefully we can learn some stuff along the way. Okay. I guess, do you want me to just go ahead, Rogerio? I'll ask my first question. So what is the current state of universities and research throughout the continent in regards to knowledge production? And what can be done to improve their shortcomings?
Hello. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Rogerio, for inviting me. Can you hear me? Is it good? Thank you. All right. So my name is FRIO ONOFRE. I am a teacher in Mozambique, and I'm also a philanthropist. I'm the founder of a non-profit called Vigilante em Saúde e Direitos Humanos. We provide social assistance to vulnerable children. Going to your question, the current state of universities throughout the continent, I think it's good. Regarding knowledge production, it's very good. We've got some challenges, but in general, I would say that it's good. Some countries, they are ahead in terms of knowledge production. Other countries are not very ahead because of the limitations and the barriers that they face in those particular countries. For example, in Mozambique, lastly, we see a lot of production of knowledge throughout the universities, from the south to the north. All of the universities, they've got programs that have students producing and sharing knowledge. So in general, I'll say that it's very good, though the challenges.
Yes, my name is SADÚ Salvador from Mozambique, and I'm a law student. I love to make this great opportunity you give me to be here with you, all of you, just sharing our experience about that area of knowledge. Thank you. But to answer this first question, let me say that Mozambique, as other countries from Africa, they have got main trouble to produce knowledge, and then the best trouble to have problem making knowledge or producing knowledge is, in my opinion, is a corruption. There are many corruption people, and then it makes dangerous our education. We know that Mozambique is a country, is a poverty country, and there are many poverty people. Even in South Africa, there are also many poverty people. Then I could consider that the most problem right now is this poverty and the corruption. It makes dangerous our education. That's why we can have people without no reading without no writing also. And as you know, it became difficult to produce knowledge in Africa.
Awesome. So I guess my next question would be, you kind of touched on this, but is the lack of knowledge production more an issue of lack of resources for like students and researchers, or is it lack of incentives perhaps for people to conduct research, or even as you mentioned, like corruption or other things that are impeding knowledge production?
Sorry, can you repeat your question?
Sure. My question was, you kind of touched on this in your last response, but is the lack of knowledge production more an issue of lack of resources for like students and researchers, or is it perhaps a lack of incentives given by universities or research programs to get people to do and conduct more research, or is it, as you touched on, maybe corruption or other outside factors that are getting in the way of knowledge production?
Okay, I think that knowledge production is affected in different ways. As my colleague said, corruption is one of the factors, but I think also limitations in terms of resources and incentives in the researchers as well as the students are the main barriers that we are facing now. Because in universities, I'll take the example of Mozambique. I don't want to be very wide talking about Africa in this particular aspect. I'll take the example of Mozambique. Many of the universities, they don't have many programs that will have students opportunity to create, produce, and share knowledge. They can have at least 2-3 programs in a year. I think it's not enough. It's not enough, and it's not really a lack of resources, because now we've got internet, we've got our campuses. But lack of incentives, I think, is the major aspect.
So in my personal opinion, let me say that as I told you before, corruption and poverty great trouble in Africa to develop education. Because when some people, as the United States of America, bring us some opportunity to develop, to develop our education, it sometimes became the government doing corruption, and then these results don't be offered for school. And then many of them take these resources for their house. Then it makes education down. Other things, the technology. In some parts of school in Mozambique, for example, I had been at Angola. I saw some schools there without technology at school, without network at school. It sometimes can be good because people from school, the student there, could be, how can I say, seeing some culture from other country, and sometimes this globalization can make dangerous the education, and then it can make also good their education. Even in Mozambique, we can see some schools that have technology at school, that have, how can I say, a network at school also. Then some part of that kid, that student, they use that network to access other things, as a pornography, for example, and then it makes dangerous for school. Research they have at some schools, but corruption is higher here in Mozambique. That's the main reason of low education.
So, what role does the influence of foreign nations play in both helping and impeding knowledge production in Africa? And what could or should they be doing better to help promote education in a sustainable and more efficient manner in Africa?
Well, foreign visibility, we've got a lot here in Africa. In terms of our studies, you mean in terms of the researches that are being conducted in Africa? Is it? All right. So, yeah, we've got some foreign visibility, but I think this visibility should be can be improved. If you look at our scenario, you'll find that apart from the barriers we find in producing this knowledge, you'll see that also many researchers, they find also a lot of problems when it comes to put their products, their researches in or outside Africa, because these partnerships with other universities and other entities that would allow them to have this visibility is not sometimes an easy task. I would say that many researchers, especially young researchers, they find it very difficult first to research in Africa, because the people who are already researching, and they don't easily help these young Africans who are doing some work to pass them their knowledge and work together. So it's very difficult for a young researcher to do their work, and it's even more difficult to publish these services, these researches outside Africa. But this scenario is changing, as many young Africans now they are going outside Africa. They are studying. They are coming back and taking this knowledge acquired outside, and also trying to interact with local young researchers, and with this link between universities from other continents with these universities here in Africa, I think things are improving. So that's what I'll say.
So, in my personal opinion, I like to say that we can see great opportunity from many countries of Europe, of America also, like American program for education. It is happening here in Mozambique, and then it is helping many child, developing their education. And we can see also some European program for education. It is happening here, and it makes people learn something from school. They bring some resource from school as a book for their library. For some school, they have got library, and it is too much important. America program for education. They are also bringing here in Mozambique some stuff that helps a lot at university also, but they are difficult to make to produce knowledge from students. I think it's because the anger. You can see people from Mozambique without go to school because they are hunger, they approve it. Then they know there are no people to help them living good. But people, you can give them some books, you can give them pencil, you can give them computer. But what about the hunger? What about their food daily? You can see them living without anything to eat. Then for that, since there, we can see people without going to school, even getting ever material, getting ever resource to go to school, but they are not feeding their self um, good. That's why they, first of all, don't go to school to have education. They become at home with that resource that they had from school. Thanks.
In y'all's opinion, where does the responsibility lie for the changes that need to occur to improve knowledge production, and what are the biggest first steps that can be taken by both either like the government or universities or researchers or students or anybody?
Well, I think this responsibility is shared here in Africa. The government, they've got their responsibility, and universities, even the society, people. But what is happening is that some parts, they are not doing what they're supposed to do. Universities, they provide the tools for students to develop researches and develop produce knowledge and share. But you'll find, because of the first aspect we talked about in the beginning of this webinar, a lack of incentives. So the students, they don't feel motivated to research, and universities sometimes they don't how can I say, they don't make this matter a very important one. So I think, yeah, it's shared.
Can you guys still hear me? Okay, sorry. I think the Wi-Fi was cutting out a little bit.
So I'm sorry, I had to leave.
I think we are facing some problems here of the internet, but Mr. Free was asking the question from Ben Finberg. I think you are now on the position. Free.
Sorry, can I proceed?
Can you repeat again what you were saying about the questions from Ben Finberg?
Should I repeat the question or?
Yeah, I think, Ben, you have to repeat the question.
Okay. My question was, where does the responsibility for change and improvements lie? Is it on the government or on universities? And what are the first steps that need to be taken on both like a government and university level, but also societal level to improve knowledge production?
Okay, I was answering. I was saying that this responsibility is shared. So universities, they've got their responsibility. Government, they also have. So what basically government they do is to design policies that would facilitate the work of the other entities like universities, and in these universities they provide this environment for knowledge production. But I think it lies mostly in universities. The responsibility of knowledge production lies mostly on university, as they're the ones to give incentives to students, so they can feel motivated to create, to produce knowledge. And what is happening mostly as a barrier is that most universities, they don't uh, give this environment, they don't give incentives to students so that they can produce knowledge. So I think we have to start thinking in making this matter of knowledge production and sharing like an interesting matter to students in universities. We have to promote more fairs, more workshops where we are going to show students the advantages when we produce knowledge, when we share knowledge. So I think universities, they're the ones with more responsibility in knowledge production and sharing.
Um, I agree with my colleague there. The responsibility here, we must share. I mean, the government, the responsibilities, the population also, and for other people who are still helping Mozambique, they have responsibility. And so, I mean, noise here, I mean, noise. I mean, there's so much noise. But I said I was agreeing with my colleague that the government and the population and other people who are still helping Mozambique, they must share the responsibility because the government must finish the corruption situation, and other people, as European American people, they must also know in which field must help Mozambique, must help South Africa, must help Angola. They can help us as an African with books, for example, help us with pens, with other school resources. But what about hunger? People are still dying by hunger. We must finish first of all this area of life. After that, they must regard also other thing. The first way the, 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 the African helper, the African friends, they must see the hungry. They must finish this situation. After that, people from Mozambique, they can produce something great. But it is not how can I say easy. It's not easy. It must go step by step. After that, we're gonna finish it.
So my final question would be, how can young people and students overcome the barriers to knowledge production themselves? And also, how can they help to promote knowledge production and research and education in their own communities?
Well, I think that it all falls into education. So the more young people are educated, I think the more knowledge production is going to be taking place in African countries. So, and the way to increase knowledge production and sharing in their own communities will be in these young Africans themselves. They have to take this knowledge and try to pass to younger generation, like the friends in the community through organizations of fairs and workshops. They have to instill in in children the spirit of reading books, researching, giving small assignments. For example, for me as a teacher, I always try to show my students the advantage of researching instead of just telling my students or giving any information. I would rather try to make them research and bring the results. So everyone will find ways to take what they understand and try to organize small events in their communities and try to spread this knowledge. Because the thing is to spread. You don't have to stay with the knowledge yourself. You have to spread, you have to exchange information with other people, with other researchers who are longer. We've got more experience in the field. So I think it all falls into education, exchanging information, as well as yes, these small community events that can take place can help.
So I didn't get very well the question, but um, I have many things I think that should be changed in Mozambique, here in Mozambique, in Africa in general. Um, the first situation is building library for all school, all university, and um, um, uh, helping people having thing to eat. For example, Mozambique now is living the terrible war in north of Mozambique. People are there just still dying by hunger and by COVID-19. I mean, in that situation, we can see also some help from America, some help from China, but there are many people without education. They are not studying. Young people without studying, without a future. Then first of all, I would like to advise people from other country to help them in this area, finishing helping Mozambique, helping other countries of Africa, finishing the war, helping them just to having something to eat, and education also. Then Africa themselves can't finish this problem.
Thank you. I think that was my last question. I don't know if either of you have anything more you want to say, any closing remarks, or if Rogerio has any questions or anything he'd like to say.
Well, I would like to thank for this opportunity to share a bit of what we understand. Uh, this is a clear example of knowledge production and sharing. So I'm very thankful. And yes, who was watching this webinar, I want to thank them too. And I hope that this type of initiatives, they go on, they don't stop here. Thank you.
So I'm so glad to participate in this webinar. And I will share this experience with other colleagues from university. Um, yeah, it was amazing. It was a great experience. I would like to participate to in other webinar in future. Thank you.
Thank you both. It was a privilege and a pleasure. Yeah, as I was saying, thank you both. It was also a pleasure and a privilege for me to be able to sit here and listen to you guys talk and ask these questions. So I hope the audience enjoys this as well. And I'll pass it over to Rogerio.
Okay. I think Rogerio is having some problems with it.
Hello. Hello, can you hear me? Oh yeah, thank you once again, everyone, to take part of this webinar, and I'm very glad you had this opportunity to discuss with our intern Ben Finberg, and we'll continue organizing this kind of webinar with other African leaders throughout the continent, and yeah, enjoy your Saturday. And let's keep thinking about the ways of improving many things that are going bad in Africa and make Africa great again. Bye bye.
Thank you.